Hey y'all, Michelle G here, Bendy, Stitchy. Today is Saturday, it's July 4th, and my pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel about cross stitch. So it's a little later in the afternoon than usual because today was the first day of the 2026 Tour de France. So excited. And for the first time in, I think they said like 40 years, it kicked off with the team time trial. And the team time trial is when, just like it sounds, the team rides together. They ride individually. I'm not sure how far apart they start on the course, but maybe like, say there's 5 minutes in between each one. And the course today was like 19.1 kilometers. It had 2 climbs in it, which is pretty unusual for a team time trial. Usually it's fast and straight and like a rush. But the interesting thing about the team time trial this year is usually, so there's like 8 guys on a team. And usually they take the time of the 4th person across the line as the team's time. So you can drop some people, like they can get too tired and stop pedaling and still finish with 4 riders. But today, the team got the first rider across time. So that really changed strategy because it allowed teams to like drag their strongest riders up the hills and then let them go. And you didn't have to conserve as much energy at the end, which was interesting. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched yet and you're going to watch on replay, I'm going to tell you right now, it was a good stage. And Jonas Vingegaard is in the yellow, which hasn't happened since stage 21 of the 2023 Tour de France when he won. He didn't wear the yellow at all in 24 or 25, and Tadej Pogačar won both of those years. So this should be a good year. Tadej Pogačar is trying for his 5th win. He'll be like the 5th person in history to do that, up with like Eddie Merckx and Bernard Hinault and those guys that are really, really famous and like synonymous with cycling. So my money's on Tadej. I'm team Tadej Pogačar, and you will be hearing about the Tour de France for the next 3 weeks. Lucky for you, I'll film this week, I'll film next week, and I'll have the following week off, I'll have 2 weeks off, which is when the tour ends. So you might miss it. But all right, since the last time I made a Flosstube, which was June 20th. I'm on about every 2-week schedule. I have worked on 6 projects. I had 2 finishes, 2 SAFs, start and finish. So that's 4 total finishes. And then I worked on 2 more whips. About 5,100 stitches on 11 days for about 26 and a half hours. So of course I use Notion to keep track of my stuff. And I only, I like manually count stuff. So everything is give or take a few. And if I frog, like if I put in 10 stitches, frog 8, have to put those 8 back in, those 8 get counted twice. So sometimes if a project has like 1,500 stitches, I might put in 1,600 because of frogging, but I want to get credit for those. So my first finish this is called These Plants Could Kill, or The Poison Garden Sal. This is from Tiny Modernist. And you purchased it through her Patreon page, but it wasn't part of her Patreon. So it was a separate purchase. But look at it. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm so happy. And I finished this. So I started it when the sal started and I finished it when the sal ended. So it was a really good, I stitched it on time. I finished a sal on time. So started January 18th of this year. Finished June 21st of this year, which is about a week after the last part dropped, which I think is legit to stitch that bottle while I have a baby kitten at home. Took me about 55 hours to stitch this piece for 9,875 about stitches on 25 stitching days. And this is on 32 count hot cocoa Lugana from Bestitch Me, and I used all of the called for DMCs. Isn't that good? I really like this. It was fun to stitch. And this is one where the back stitch makes all the difference in the world. Like tons of difference. I posted a couple pictures on my Instagram whenever I would finish a bottle. I would finish the bottle and then I would go back and put the back stitching in. And I always, if I remembered, I would try to take a picture before the back stitching and then after the back stitching. Huge, huge difference. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I have been sending my pieces. I have a lot of things framed. I have been sending my pieces to people to make them into project bags, and that might be fun with this one. So what do you think? Do I make it into a project bag? Do I take it up to Acorns and have it framed? I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. Do I put it in the big scrapbook? I have a big scrapbook that has like things ready to be put into it, but I haven't really committed to putting something in the big scrapbook yet. So as long as it's less than 12 by 12, I can get it into the big scrapbook. So I do that with this. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But she's done, and that was fun to stitch. And then because there are so many colors in that, this one is also done. This is the 2025 Steady Thread Sal. So this was a free, during 2025, this was free. Let me just hold it like this. I think this might be easier. This is a blackwork Sal, the Steady Thread Designs Blackwork, and this was my tail end project. Oh jeez, I lost my place. Sorry, hold on. I hit the back button, and I probably shouldn't have. So this is the Steady Thread Sal by the Steady Thread. This is on a piece of 18, I think, count Ada, that my Diana dyed for me. And this is, the floss is like everything, right? Because it's whatever project I was working on, I put the tail end on this. So I started this December 25th, 2024. Finished it June 21st, 2026, the same day as These Plants Could Kill, because these last few squares down here are all These Plants Could Kill. So like that are all tail ends from my last project. So about 6,500 stitches, 6,448. And this is black work, so I counted every time I pulled the thread through the fabric twice, I counted that as one stitch. Because when you make an X, you do 2 legs. So every kind of 2-leg equivalent, I counted it as 1 stitch. And this represents 34 stitching days for about 31 hours and 46 minutes. This was my 15th finish of 2026. That's what this year is, right? 2026. It's fun. Would I do a tail end project in black work again? Probably not on this color fabric because a lot of them you can't really see. Actually, probably not period because a lot of them you can't really see. Like this, Medium did this, and this reads much better, right? Because the fabric and the floss are appropriate for black work. This was a fun game and a fun experiment, but if I were making something that I wanted to see, then I wouldn't do it like this. But this was fun. I don't regret this at all. I'm already on to my next tail end project, which I'll show you when I get to the starts. It's in here. But first we got to see some more finishes. I actually worked on, I don't know. But anyway, that was my 15th finish of 2026. And this is my 16th finish of 2026. This is called Summer Basket. It is by Darling and Whimsy. And look how cute. This is from her Patreon, my friend Deanna's Patreon. This is a piece of 36 count Fox and Rabbit. It's left over from, I stitched Nuri, Shaded Stitcheries, Taking Up Space on this fabric. And this was the leftover. Acorns and Threads framed it, and they always send me my leftovers back. But Deanna charted this in DMCs, and I just grabbed a couple of overdyed flosses and subbed them in. So super cute. This took me like just a couple of days. I took this with me to Rose's volleyball tournament last weekend. She and I were in Arizona. Wade stayed here with the baby kitty, and I just stitched on it in between games because at volleyball, they're either playing, they're reffing, or they're on a break. And it was a 4-day tournament, so there was lots of playing time where I was watching, and sometimes I watch a ref because I like to watch volleyball and she's super cute. But if they're on a break, there's really nothing for the parents to do, and the girls kind of all stay together on their breaks. The team does, which is good for them. So I finished it while they were on their breaks. I spent four stitching days. We were at the tournament for 4 days for about 3.5 hours. And this is about 546 stitches. I still have a lot of this fabric left, and I didn't put away these flosses because I'm also in Tracy Horner's Patreon, her for ink circles, and Tracy's pattern for this month is this. It's called Fourth Garden Chart. But I only used, like, on this pattern, the green, the pink, and the super variegated. And then I used a DMC 310, which I really like. So I think I can take these colors on this chart and take this chart and put it on the other side here. And that'll be a good travel project too. So it'll change the vibe completely, which, you know, I'm not like, I am patriotic, but not in like a rah-rah 4th of July kind of way. I'm a patriotic in like a America fix your shit way. But I love this pattern. And if you look at this flower right, this looks like a creature. And as soon as I saw the creature right there, it looks like going like this. I'm like, I gotta stitch this. So that's super cute, and that'll be my new travel project. Although I do want to know what this blue is, because it's lovely. Let me see. Fourth Garden Chart. So that's Classic Colorworks Wavy Navy, and that is a very nice blue. But again, there's only 4 called fors in that, and I have 3 here, and I think it will be a fun, and so like, I stitched this in hand, so I just rolled it up like this, and stitched it like this. So for this one, to stitch it on the other side, I'll literally just roll the fabric the other way, and stitch it over here. And then I'll have 2 birds, 1 stone. It's not that big, 81 by 81. So I better do a little math, but I think I can make it fit. 81 by 81. Size on 32 count is 5.25 by 5.25. And this is 36 count. So this will fit. Because this is definitely like 6 inches tall. So that's my plan for the rest of this fabric, which is why I haven't like done anything to put it away yet. I could just snip this off and put it in the journal pile though. I probably will do that actually. So that is my that was my, what number was that? That was my 16th finish of 2026. I don't know why I'm still tripping over the year. I'm just taking notes so that I know what I did. And then my last finish, my most recent finish that I finished last night is in this bag. And this is, I'm so excited about this. This is Wild Violet Cross Stitch. This is the star. So Ryan, Wild Violet Cross Stitch, she has a Patreon now. And that was actually my giveaway from last video. I gave away a membership. I gifted a membership to her Patreon. And I think 6 people entered the giveaway, and my patrons chose number 3, and that was Aya Rosen. So I just sent Aya a link this afternoon, to Ryan's Patreon. So this is the star, and I finished this last night. And I'm stitching as many as I can of these on, this is Albarium 36 count from Cedar River Linen. And I think I can get 10 of these on this fabric, because I think I can get 3 across the bottom, and then I think I can get 2 more across the top. And so if I get 5 on this piece, I have another piece just this size, and then I will get a second piece of Cedar River linen from my stash that is the same count, but maybe a different color. But I think I chose this color to start with because this is like such a good match for the color on the cover. And I almost never stitch on whitish, but like it needed it. It wanted it. It needed it. So this is the star. This is all in DMC, and these are the called for colors. And I love this little skeleton. So this, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, this skeleton series is a continuation of one that Ryan's already done. And I stitched all 3 of these ones that she had done before, the snipper, the ripper, and the stitcher. And then this was made into a needle book for me that I'm very appropriately using for this set. This fabric was dyed by my Diana, and then the floss is a cottage garden thread. I think it's called Goblin or something. It's something like Goblet or Goblin, or I don't know, Green Goblin. I don't know. But anyway, I'm finally using the thing that was made to be used rather than just having it sit. There's one more, and it has a cup of coffee, and it's called the Sipper. I'm almost positive. I don't think I dreamed that. But, so I kept all of the DMCs in this parcel or in this project bag, because Ryan's going to do one of these every month for her Patreon. So this one is done. And then my other plan is, if you join her Patreon by a certain time, I forget when, then you also get this bonus pattern that goes with this. It's the same colors and it's the skeleton. This is a take on the girl with the pearl earring, but it's so tiny. It's 39 by 46. So I'm going to stitch that also onto this fabric. I'm just going to put it like in the corner over here, right up here up top, because there's plenty of space. Oh, there should be plenty of space. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put it in the corner. But what I love about this, so many things. It was a super fast stitch. Let me tell you how long it took me. I finally learned open link and new tab. Like, that's smarter. So this took me about 10 hours, 10 hours and 10 minutes, 2,027 stitches, but I did do some decent amount of frogging on this because I can't count. And start to finish 6 days. I started this June 28th, finished it July 3rd. This was my 17th finish of the year. And what I also love about this is this weave of 36 count is perfect for 2 strands of DMC because I got that nice color saturation, right? Sometimes on 36, I'll use 1 strand, sometimes I'll use 2, but here I really wanted the color and I got it. So yeah, 17th finish of the year. I love it. I had fun stitching it and I can't wait to do more. And I think my reasoning behind doing them all on the same count from the same dyer is usually that would get me to like a similar size for all of them. I did count. It's not exactly the size it's supposed to be, but I don't know yet if Ryan intends to do like a big border layout for these, like Cheryl at Tiny Modernist did for her tarot, and Witchy Stitcher Meg did for her tarot. They did a big layout where you could stitch all of the majors together. I don't know if Ryan intends to do that or not, but if she does, then I can take a 36 count Cedar River linen, stitch the border, and then baste these on. So it'll be totally fine. I also just thought, oh gosh, okay, hold on. Time out. I'll be right back. Can someone please talk me out of this? Because speaking of Cheryl, Cheryl has also the Stitcher's Tarot, or she has the Tarot for Stitchers. And I have some of them, but not all. I have parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I don't think I have the star. What number is the star? 17? I don't have the star. But how much fun would it be? Hear me out. Each one of Cheryl's are... Where does it say? The full design is 288 by 344. That's as many as I have. They're all released now. I'm just behind. But each one of them are smaller than... each one of Cheryl's are smaller than Ryan's. How wild would it be? I'm going to need somebody to chime in here and tell me not to do this. How wild would it be to... Oh no. To stitch one of Ryan's. Like if I stitch the star of Ryan's, if I stitch the star of Cheryl's, and if I stitch the star of Meg's. Please someone chime in and be like, don't do that. Because I already have patrons going, do it. But like, someone please tell me not to do that, because that's so much stitching. I'm looking for, maybe I'll just go to tinymodernist.com. Because I also want to do a Mothman sampler. I have so many Mothman charts saved in... Okay, so here's Cheryl's tarot. Are you ready? So, like, here's her star. Which, like, the star... But do you see what I mean? Like, the star and the star and the star. And I just think, like, how fun would it be to do that, right? But, like, look how fun Cheryl's is. The tower. Oh, they're 2x2 here. That's probably easier. The seeker and the magician, not the fool. The priestess and the empress. The emperor and the hierophant. The lovers and the chariot. I love, she just made her sewing. So I love that it's an old sewing machine. Strength and the hermit. She made it a quilt. The tethered one and rebirth. It just, like, it's good. And then the witchy stitcher. Let's see if we can find Meg's. Meg, of course, did the whole, like, Lisa Frank tarot, the nostalgic tarot. So here's her star. It's a tooth, which, like, shut up. But hers are big, like, big. I mean, big. So, like, Ryan's was a quick stitch. It took me 6 days. I'm pretty sure Cheryl's would be a fairly quick stitch because they look like, I could math this really quick. They're like 40 by 70, these ones. So not as big, but Meg's are big. But, like, look at the star is a tooth. And I know they're huge because I stitched one. I stitched the Empress up here. I stitched it for my Deanna, Darling and Whimsy, as part of a swap. And that took me a long time. But do you see what I mean? How Meg has the frame. So if Ryan, and how Cheryl has the frame too. So if Ryan does decide to put out a frame, that's why I'm making sure I'm stitching them all on the same count. Because I didn't, like, grab a piece of fabric big enough for all of them. So I'll just make sure that they're all on the same count so that I can cut them out and baste them onto it if I needed to. I did also, I just realized, I have this hand-dyed by Rolanda. I obviously had a different plan for Cheryl's Tarot because I have this 40 count hand-dyed by Rolanda. This is a 17 by 26. And I think this would be big enough. Or at least the me that bought this thought this would be big enough. 40 count Verdal. The me that bought this thought this would be big enough to stitch Cheryl's Tarot on. So maybe I don't. Maybe I don't do that. Maybe I just slow my roll and just keep. Maybe I just don't. Witchy's tarot cards are just so big. But it would be fun. It would potentially be fun to, like, as I stitch Ryan's cards, to also go back and stitch Cheryl's cards too. Because I have really, like, I have totally been meaning to stitch these. And if I did the border, like, I could, hear me out. I could start in the bottom corner with the border, and then I would just have to stitch along the bottom line here, and then I could stitch the star. Of course, I would have to go buy it first, because I only have the first two. But you get the PDF border layout. Like, Cheryl she gives us the border. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know why I wouldn't. I'm down to like 16 whips now, 15 if I unwhip one that I was talking about unwhipping. So why not? On 16 count, it's 18 by 21. And this is 40 count, and I have 17 by 26. So let me see. Let me get my calculator out here. So to figure out, I know most of you know this, right? But to figure out what fabric size you need for a design size, you want to take your stitch count and you divide it by the number of stitches you need per inch. So we're going to do 288, and on a 40 count, that means I get 20 stitches per inch, right? So 288 divided by 20, I would need my fabric to be 14.4 inches wide. And most people add 6 inches for a border because they like a 3-inch border. But what I do instead is I say, how much fate do I have to play with? So I would minus, what I have is 17 inches. And what I need, I have 17 inches of fabric. I need 14.4 inches to stitch. That leaves me with 2.6 inches total, which leaves me with a 1.3 inch border on either side of this. That is plenty for me. Plenty. I am not scared of a 1-inch border. So this piece of fabric is fine width-wise. Let's see length. So 334 divided by 20. Oh yeah, that's only 16.7 inches and I have 26. So this fabric, whatever year that bought this, Michelle was thinking correctly. I think I bought this at Stitch North. So I think it must have been 2024 because I wasn't there in 2025. Or was it 2023 because now I've missed 2 years? I don't know. I think 2024 Michelle mathed appropriately when buying this. So I'm going to need somebody to talk me out of that. And look, 3371, you need 5 skeins. No, you don't because I have a cone. I have a cone of 310 and 3371 because Contessa with squid. I needed a cone for that. All right, so those are all my finishes and a little bit of my plans. I don't want to get rid of this. I love this picture so much that I don't even know what I want to do with it. Like I think I'm going to cut the picture out and just save it in the bag. So then whenever I decide what to do, that doesn't really make any sense and there's no need for that whatsoever, but we're doing it. All right, now whips. So I was working on hashtag Speak Out Summer Sal with, that is sponsored by, or I would say the brainchild of, Crash Out Cross Stitch. And the idea behind Speak Out Summer Sal is just stitch on something, and it was for the month of June, but I say it's still summer, so I say you can still do it. Stitch on a piece that has a meaning, right? That you're uplifting a marginalized group's voice, or you're stitching for a cause, or you're doing something. So I thought, what better thing to get back out than my chart, Grief Knows No Bounds, my whip, Grief Knows No Bounds. I did help design this. So it's a collaboration of 5 cross-stitchers. There's Miriam of Marumi Crafts. Miriam did the border, all of the border. And then this inside piece with our words and our title. Yasmin's Made with Love did the cardinal, I think. And then Yasmin of Crafty Yams did the dove. Aya Rosen did the ravens. And I did, this is a Palestinian sunbird. And this is a charity chart and it's still available. So if you wanted to make a $15 donation in your currency to either the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, Doctors Without Borders, or the Parents Circle, and then send me or any one of us a screenshot of your donation, we'll send you the PDF. So this, that you saw, what it's going to look like. And this is where it is so far. This is upside down. This is where it is so far. I have to say, I am loving working on the borders of this. So the way, even though like I had to frog back a whole bunch of this border, the border is so nice and so regular, so predictable. It's stitching one of Miriam's borders is like stitching one of Nuri's borders where it's just like calm and soothing because it's so predictable, right? So I stitch a couple strands for the outside border. Like I'll do a strand of the light teal over here, and then a strand of the light teal over here. Strand of the blue on this side, strand of the blue on this side. And then I'll go inside and do a strand of the dark teal here and a strand of the dark teal here. What I haven't been doing well is keeping up with the words, which are in black. So I need to do the words. And the words are actually a poem. And where is all the stuff I keep on my desktop? Do you ever like store so much stuff on your desktop? There it is. Store so much stuff on your desktop that you're like, I don't know where that is. So the 4 words, the 4 pieces of words around this are actually pieces of a poem. Or it's an excerpt from a poem. And it's in Farsi, Arabic, Hebrew, and English. And the English translation of the poem, because I don't read Farsi, Arabic, or Hebrew, is human beings are members of a whole in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is inflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot pertain. So Miriam took 4 lines out of that poem, and she charted them in, this is the Hebrew down at the bottom. The English will go up this side, and then the Arabic and Farsi. I'm not looking at it right now, so I don't know. And I actually don't know which is which. I'd have to look at the words that Miriam. But the Arabic and Farsi are on the top and side. And then the borders are the river and the sea. So from the river to the sea. There's just a lot of symbolism in this piece. And then when you get the pattern, you also get a little bit of a write-up from each of the designers about why we chose the way we chose and why we designed the way we designed. So like Aya chose ravens because that bird symbolizes turning ideas and thoughts into action. Yasmin's Made with Love, I was right about that, chose cardinals because they represent lost loved ones. Mine is the Palestinian sunbird. It was adopted as the official bird of Palestine in 2015 in response to an attempt at renaming the bird by the Israeli Authority. In response to the proposed renaming, the Palestinian Wildlife Society and the Palestinian Ministry of Education organized a nationwide writing and photography competition for students to celebrate and document the Palestinian sunbird. Palestinian poet Tamim al-Barghouti tied resistance to beauty, saying, "Whenever you face injustice or roughness, remember to defend yourself by finding beauty. Document, prove, and defend it, because all beauty is resistance." And Yams chose the mourning dove because it's used as a sign of peace in many cultures, and her dove is grieving the death of the dove's children. So it's a heavy piece, but it's a beautiful piece. And I don't really I took it off the Q-snap, or I took it off the, you can see I just took it off the, what is this? This thingy? The Nerge. I just took it off the Nerge this morning because I started working on my Tour de France piece for the tour, but I kind of want to put it back on and keep working on it. It also stitches really fast. It's a very soothing, calming stitch. I think I already said that. Yeah. So send your donation and send me your receipt if you want to get in on that stitching. You still can. We're still taking donations. We're still all of that. Okay, and then I have a new start, and this is from Ink Circles. So I finished a tail end project, and I needed to start another tail end project. So this tail end project, don't install any updates. My computer's like, I need to install an update, and I'm like, no, thank you, please don't install an update. Sorry. So my new start is, it's called Icon the Protector, and this is from Ink Circles, and it's from Tracy's Patreon, and this is like a perfect tail end project piece, right? So this is the same piece of fabric, Be Stitch Me Hot Cocoa 32 count, that I stitched my These Plants Could Kill. And I just got a little bit of a start here. So this blue is actually this blue and black is the end of These Plants Could Kill. And then these ones here are from the summer basket. So just a tiniest start on the icon. But I think that this chart will lend itself really well to tail ends. So I don't really have anything coming up that's like really close to a finish. So this will have to see like, you know, probably a new start of something small I'll have to put on here because there's not that much. And I need to get it its own project bag probably. Okay. Put that back. And then last but not least, my latest whip that I just worked on a little bit today because today's the first day of the Tour de France. This is my 2 years of tours bell pull. And it's very, this is on a piece of 40 count linen from Kaylee at Kaylee Tent Stitch. And this is a very, optimistic name for it, 2 years of tours bell pull, because I'm just finishing 2024 Giro d'Italia. So every year in cycling, there's 3 major races, 3-week races, stage races. There's the Giro d'Italia, the Tour de France, which most people are familiar with, and La Volta a España. I love cycling and I love watching it on TV. So I started this piece, and the idea is that this pattern that I'm stitching is actually Veerland. It's Birdie, which is Veerland Sisters number 2 from Stitchy Box. The reason I chose it is because there's 21 motifs, and there's 21 stages in a tour, in a major tour, these 3 tours. So what I did is each person who won the stage, I stitched the motif like their jersey. And then this right here is meant to be an alphabet, but instead it's the name of the race. So this will say Giro d'Italia, and the winner of the race, Tadej Pogačar. And then the pattern actually does say Anno. And then I don't know what the numbers are below on the actual pattern, but this is the 2024 Giro, so I put that there. And then all these little motifs, I just turned pink because the winner's jersey in the Giro is pink, just like the winner's jersey in the Tour is yellow, just like the winner's jersey in La Volta is red. So then the other thing that I did is there's 3 more jerseys in each race. And in the Giro, there's the King of the Mountains, who's the best climber, and that's decided by points. There's the Sprint jersey, who's the best sprinter, and that's also decided by points. And then there's the best young rider, and that's the person under a certain age that has the best time. Okay, so my overall winner goes up here in the main part, and then I also charted in the colors of the jerseys the winners. So Tadej Pogačar won the Giro d'Italia 2024. He also dominated and won the mountains jersey. I think his name's Julian Milan. He won the Maglia Ciclamino, that's the cycling, the sprint points. And then Antonio Tiberi won the best young rider. And then in the Tour de France 24, Tadej Pogačar won again. You can't really read this because the jersey for the King of the Mountains in the Tour de France is a red and white polka dot. But this is Richard Carapaz won the jersey. I can barely read that. Biniam Girmay won the sprint jersey. And Remco Evenepoel won the best young rider. And then La Volta in 24 was won by Primož Roglič. Tadej wasn't there. Jay Vine won the King of the Mountains, and you can see that jersey is a little bit different. It's white with bigger blue polka dots. Caden Groves won the sprint, and Matthias Skalmos won the best young rider, and he's still doing really well. But you can see, so Tadej Pogačar, he is Team UAE Emirates, and his jersey looks like this. So it's all white with a red stripe, and then it says UAE. So every time you see this jersey, Tadej Pogačar won that stage. He also, I have one more row up here. See this crown row? He also won stage 2. So Tadej actually won 6 stages of the Giro d'Italia 2024, and 5 of them he won while he was wearing the Maglia Rosa. So I outlined them in pink. So if you're wearing a jersey while you win a stage, I outline your motif. Like Julian Milian won this one, so it's outlined in that maroon color. this is real nerdy, y'all. This is like, if you are new here, welcome to my nerdiness. And if you're not new here, welcome back. It's tour season, baby. So I'm calling this 2 years of tours belt pull because I can get 6 Birdie Veerlandas on this. But I'm just finishing 2024. So I have 2024. Once I finish the Giro, 2024 will be done. I'll do 2025. I think I'll do 2025 and then I'll be done. I also stitched 2023. I stitched a piece. This is worth looking at. In 2023, I stitched a piece for the Tour de France and I stitched it on a bright yellow piece of fabric and it was beautiful. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I can't find it. I don't know if it's in here. Baba Yaga, After the Roses. Oh, here it is. Okay. I stitched, so there's, Modern Folk Embroidery has a piece called Love Gains. And, oh my God, I didn't put any pictures in. Son of a... Modern Folk Embroidery has a piece called Love Gains, and it also happens to have 21 motifs on it, but they're much bigger. So you can see that's just a snippet of the pieces. But this was before I was really truly tracking, so I don't have it. But trust me when I tell you it was epic and beautiful. So I'm excited for this belt pull. It's really fun to stitch the pieces and watch them develop and kind of like plan what colors I'm going to use. And it's fun to see how the team's jerseys change in the tours because like, oh, here, I'll just show you. So there's a team called EF Education First, and they won the same stage in 2 tours. So they won this stage here, and they won this stage in the next tour, but you can see they were wearing a different kit. Their jerseys had changed. So this team, EF Education First, is this team, EF Education First, but they changed their jerseys. And this team is Jumbo-Visma, and this team here is also Jumbo-Visma. But they usually wear a completely yellow kit, and in the Tour de France, it's considered poor form to wear a completely yellow kit because the winner, the leader of the race, wears a yellow kit. So Visma got a different color kit for the Tour de France. So it's just really interesting. And if you're a big nerd, this is a big nerdy thing to do. So I think we need to nerd out more about cross stitch. And if you have something that you like to nerd out about, tell me about it because I want to nerd out with you. Because I do want to hear about your hyperfixations and I want to tell you about mine. Because I'm here for that kind of stuff. I support it. I also might only do 1 year of tours belt pull. It might feel really good to have that thing finished after today. But we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of things that might feel really good to finish and might not feel really good to finish, I have a whip. This is, this was a Forbidden Fiber Co. Advent calendar, tiny presents box. And this is 12 Days of the Resistance. So this is a piece of 25 count Forbidden Fiber Co. even weave in Sandstorm, and I have a 1/4 yard of it. I got through 3, 2.5. You can see this one's supposed to be filled in white, but it's like not completely filled in. I got through 2.5 of these, and I just don't reach for it. So I can't decide. I can't currently decide if I want to, because sometimes what happens is I pick up an older whip and I look at it and I start stitching on it and I really love it. So I'm thinking what I'll do today is I know you can't even see it, but I do have just some fill in here. So I'll finish filling it in like this. And if I feel, after I'm done filling it in, if I feel like I want to go on to the next design, which is this, then I will. And if I don't feel like I want to go on to the next design, then I will probably auction this off for charity. So it comes with all of the patterns. I don't have the patterns for part 1 and 2. I don't know where they went, but you don't need them because they're already stitched. But I have all of the flosses from Forbidden Fiber Co. And these are good colors. Like this red is called Admiral Akbar, and it's like the best red. I have it came with floss drops. I have all of the floss drops. I haven't used these yet. There's one more on the ground, but I'll pick it up and put it back with it. I haven't used those yet. And then I have Han Solo Frozen in Carbonite Needle Minder, which is actually my second Han Solo Frozen in Carbonite Needle Minder, so I don't mind parting with this. Otherwise, I would not part with it. But I think I will fill this in and then just see, do I want to continue with this? Because, like, they're cute, and kind of I do want to continue with it, but I just haven't reached for it in so long. That one says Star Wars. This one is the Jedi Order. That's really pretty. This one is lightsabers. That would be quick. Super quick. This one is R2-D2, which is adorable. BB-8. And my idea with these is I have a journal, Master Yoda. I have a Star Wars cross-stitch journal. That Ewok is cute. That Carla made, Carla being crafty. C-3PO kind of creeps me out a little bit. Don't love that one, but maybe I would just skip him. And then the porg. Who doesn't love a porg? And then there's a bonus chart because I remember very distinctly the day that I opened the thread that's called Admiral Akbar. I was like, oh my God, I opened the thread first and I was like, oh my God, I hope I open the chart and it says it's a trap. And it wasn't. It was this day. It was the Jedi symbol. But Leanne messaged me and she was like, why didn't I think of that? So she did a 13th chart as a freebie and it says it's a trap. And these are all available on her website. You can order this chart pack, these 12 little charts. So I don't know. I'll first order of business today. First order of business today after filming this is I will finish this and see if I still want to go on to anything else. And if not, then we'll just pass this on. It's no big deal. But the journal is so cool. Let me show you the journal that Carla made. So Carla does these, and it's Carla being crafty. If you don't watch her, she's all up in the Flosstubes. She makes these little golden books, journals, where she like takes it apart and makes a journal out of it. And this one was Star Wars, and she made this for me. And they're just really good. Like, they're super cool. They're very junky junk journals. And I mean that in, like, the nicest way, right? Like, this is just the ephemera in here and the way she puts, like, stuff onto stuff. And she used the pages of the book for some things and added more pages. And there's, like, little hidey places, right? Like, this is hiding in here. There's just so much. There's like, this is like a button, a full-on button. This is chonky, this journal. Like this. And then it opens again. And then it opens again. And then it opens again. I don't think I've ever even opened that. And then it opens again. Oh my God. That's it. It only opens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times only. I just had to keep going. But yeah, so now I'm kind of thinking I do want to do those because I want to put Star Wars stuff in this book. But I also have, like, there's a bunch of needle minders and stuff that I could put in here. I don't know. So, yeah. So I'll finish off that one. And then I will actually cut those out and put them in here and see how I'm feeling. See how she uses like this. And then we'll see, right? And if I'm not inspired, I'll pass it on. And if I'm inspired, I will keep it. Because heaven knows that if there's one thing I love, it's changing my mind. And that's true. Like, just look at all this stuff. And then she also, like, a lot of the extra ephemera is donuts because I do love a donut. And I know my face is a little pink, but it's warm in here. So I don't know. This is just so cool. Like, and she knows I love batik. Like, Carla really, I almost cried when I opened this in the mail. She was like, "Can I send you one?" And I was like, "You absolutely don't have to, but yes." Like, who would say no to that ever? And this is incredible, and I'm a little sad that I haven't put anything in this yet. So this really deserves stuff to be put in it. So there's that. And then I also have like cross-stitch, like Star Wars stuff that friends have stitched for me and ATCs and stuff, and I'm going to put those in there. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow on Twitch. Do you want a junk journal? I am going to sleep in, but we should junk journal. So that's what we'll do. Okay. And I think that's all I have. I talked about Tour de France stitching. I'm going to do my bonus pattern from Wild Violet Cross Stitch. I'm going to finish up the Finish Current 12 Days of the Resistance circle. And then I'll see. So I don't have a giveaway this week. If I decide to do a charity auction for all of this, if I decide not to continue to stitch on it, I will auction it off for charity for the Restore Together Foundation for Care, RTFC, which is a charity auction, a charity that my friends, I'm probably going to go to the Dominican Republic in January to help do surgeries. It's the charity that we raise money for quite often, and they go to Dominican Republic and they do surgeries. It's a bunch of surgeons from our practice here in town and a bunch from Creighton University. And I have no business. I'll just do whatever. They're like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, I'll do SPD, right? I'll clean stuff. That's it. I wasn't gonna go, but I do want Rose to go when she's a little older, as kind of like an experience thing, and like, learning to give back and how to like spend your time for charity. So I want to go a few years before she goes so that I know what's going on and we're not just like both fumbling through it the first time together. But so I'm going to start doing some more fundraisers for RTFC to help pay our way. And I think that's it. I think that's all I've got. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but, maybe this. So here I am. I had 4 finishes, and what happens after I have 4 finishes? I make more plans than I can finish. So tomorrow we'll do Twitch. I'm not sure what time. I'm going to sleep in. But today I slept in, and but Le Tour de France is on tomorrow. So let's see what time. Because I want to watch the tour, because we don't have anything to do tomorrow. So official start time is 13:55 in France. What time is it now? Actually, they're in Barcelona. They're currently in Barcelona. So what time is it now in Barcelona? It is 11:45 p.m. And what time is it now here? It's 2:45 p.m. So that means I am 9 hours after Barcelona. So if it starts at 1 p.m., I'm hurting my head. If it starts at 1 p.m. tomorrow in Barcelona, did I say 1:55? If it starts at 1:55 tomorrow in Barcelona, that means it starts at 4:55 a.m. 4:55 a.m. here. That's dumb. Hold on. So probably 10 o'clock would be fine. Probably 10 o'clock for Twitch. Let's do that. We'll do 10 a.m. for Twitch tomorrow. All that math, and we didn't really get anywhere except let's do a 10 a.m. Twitch. So, okay, 10 a.m. Twitch. I'm going to clean up and maybe stitch a little, and then we have a party to go to tonight, which, like, the later in the afternoon it gets, the less I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be fun, so I'm going to buck up. And, yeah. Oh, that's all I've got. So, that hair's popping. So, I will see you all. Actually, I'll see you next week, because we're here this week, here next week, basketball the following week, basketball the following week. So, it'll be switched, because we'll be up in Portland for a couple weeks. So, that's all I've got. Thank you for hanging out. I don't think I forgot anything, but I'm going to knock this one out really fast right now with the patrons, and I will see you when I see you. And please somebody talk me out of stitching everybody's tarot cards, because I just don't need to do it. But I want to do it, but I don't need to do it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.